You don't have to have, some coding degree in order to make this happen. Granted, I do have my sister's help and she's been helping me with it. But at the same token, we've been helping people that literally only know how to text off their phone or take the pictures. And so we know that other people can do this.
Welcome to the Charcuterie Launch Lab podcast, where passion meets profit. If you've ever dreamed of turning your love for charcuterie, or food of any kind, into a thriving online business, well then you're in the right place. We're Andrea and Patty, the Grazing Biz Sisters. With over 60 years combined experience as a chef and digital marketer, we have walked in your shoes starting our own online businesses. We'll share all of our tips, advice, struggles, and best strategies to help you launch and grow your own online foodie business with ease. The Charcuterie Launch Lab is a space for all food creators and entrepreneurs just like you. Let's dive in and get your yummy business launched online, one board at a time. Hey, it's your friends, Patty and Andrea here. Again, the Grazing Biz Sisters. It is the Charcuterie Launch Lab podcast. Oh, look, it rolled right off my tongue this time. I'm getting there. I'm doing good. Yay. How are you, sister? What happening? Do you like our background? We're, for those of
hanging
you
in there. Yeah, we're changing up the background. So
for those of you
that watch us might see changes. We're testing things out.
Yeah,
so
we're testing some stuff out.
Feel free to comment if you hate it or you love it.
Well, you'd only see it on YouTube.
We need to know.
What the people who are listening to us may not be looking at us need to know is that, I am fully gray-haired. I don't look as old as I am. My gray hair, it's fully white. So we put in kind of background in the back here. It's not pretty, and you can see everything through it, and it's not good. So we're working with that.
I'm salt and pepper for those that aren't watching.
There's something wrong with us because I was fully white when I was your age. There's something wrong with us. That was 5 years ago.
Well, I think in that respect, I took after Mom. I look at myself on the video and go, God, I look like Mom, which is not a bad thing. Yeah. I never thought I looked anything like her. And so anyways, for those of you who might see us, or see our mother in different videos or this and that, we're kind of a weird combo of our dad.
Well, there's 5 kids in our family. For those of you who didn't know, I'm the middle child. Andrew is the youngest. We have 3 brothers, and currently I am the tallest of all of the family. I don't know how that happened. Jeez, it's weird. But anyway.
And I'm the shortest, so it kind of goes in line being the youngest.
The tallest and grayest. Oh gosh. Anyway, these people don't want to hear all this. We're so glad you're here, everybody. Today, oh gosh, so we have been helping a lot of people with their websites, and Andrew and I have been kind of digging around and to see what other people are doing, other charcuterie business owners who already have websites set up. And we're not trying to laugh, but we are trying to, we're concerned, but it is kind of laughable. I hate to say it to some extent. And I worry, and I'm laughing because it's kind of one of those nervous laughs that I worry that these people are spending, money for subscriptions in some of these softwares, and their websites are just really sad. And we're going to give you some examples of what we're talking about here. And if you're listening and you have a website and you feel like it's not up to par, or maybe you think it is up to par, but maybe you don't realize what's going on as a consumer, I think this is a podcast you're going to want to listen to, because we're going to take you through some of the things you need to be watching for, because maybe you don't even realize it. So right, Andrew, I mean, you've been in, you looked at a bunch of sites, so just kind of concerning. I worry.
So let's back up just a tad, because when we first started talking about this business that we're doing, and we're not plugging anything. Well, we always plug something. So
we're just plugging our stuff.
But the reality is, the reason that we did this is because I was already selling food online. I had e-commerce. I wanted to do charcuterie. We talked about it. I went online, started looking at setting up because the only way I wanted to do it, I live in a very rural area. And even if I didn't, I would still want to have people be able to look at the menu online, order online, schedule online, get their delivery. I don't want to have to call every single person
Or
because they
talk to
filled out a
everybody.
form.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, anyways, so that's where we ended up. I discussed it with Patty. Patty was like brainstorming because that's what she does. And next thing I knew, here we are.
Yeah.
And we really want to stress that we feel like people are just doing it so much harder than they need to. I
Yeah.
can't, I look at these websites and I'm not making fun of anybody. Everybody's doing the best they can with what they have in their budget, with whatever they have in, whatever they're doing. But as your business progresses, I assume people want their business to progress. You have to think about the fact that online ordering and scheduling and payment options are first and foremost. They
Yeah.
have to be. Otherwise, you're going to spend all day doing your marketing, and that sucks.
Well,
Because I've been
it's money lost if you want my opinion, because
time is money.
let me ask you. I mean, literally, if you were to go to somebody's site, and we're going to show a couple samples, we're going to block out personal website information about
Mhm.
these people or these companies, but if you went to a website and you landed on that page and it said, oh, great, you're looking at all these great pictures and everything looks delicious or whatever, and then you click on a button and it says order here, and you click on it, and the next thing you go to is go here, fill out this form, we'll call you, but
Mhm.
you're all excited. I mean, we're
Yeah.
in the age of we want answers yesterday. We don't want to
Mhm.
wait and even wonder if you're actually going to get back to us kind of people. Like nobody wants
Right.
that, right? This goes for every small business there is out there, to be honest with you, because everybody knows I come from the real estate background. Did you know that the average real estate agent, and this is what I harp on everyone because this is what I do, it takes 48% of people will not respond to their leads if they get, and a lead is somebody who's come to your site and shown interest and signed up for something, right? Now in
Or
the States,
customer, potential customer. That's what
potential
that is.
customer, right? And so then nobody gets back to them. Now, that's 48% will not respond to their leads. And then the other 48% or 50% takes 2 days to get back to them. Nobody wants to wait, and if it's a weekend or maybe you're out enjoying time with your family, whatever. I mean, because we know we can't be in two places at once. If we're running our own business,
Mhm.
which many of us are, it's tough. But so automation is really really going to be key, and it starts with just getting to your site. So we're going to spend a little time right now going through some of the things that are a problem, right, that you need to be watching for, and how things can be fixed and what you should be just understanding. And the first thing I want to say is this: if you created your own website or you hired somebody to do it and you have not gone to the front end of your site as opposed to the back end where all the things are done, you create the whole thing. If you go to the front end of your site, you need to go to see what it's like. What is the experience that your consumers are seeing? And it's not just on desktop. You have to do it on both desktop and mobile, because mobile sometimes is what they call mobile optimized, because you might have a font that's like 50 on your website, and then you look at the mobile version and it hasn't. You have to kind of change the font size when you're looking on a phone, and some softwares aren't very good at giving you that option to do that. So now you're seeing, have you ever been to a site? I know you have, Andrew, where you look at the words and it says, charcuterie, and it's actually over 3 lines on a mobile
Right.
because the print is
Right.
too
Because they
big.
didn't adjust it. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's not professional. Even if they might be able to read it, they're going to look at that and totally get turned off and go, wow, this isn't a very professional place, right? I don't know if I trust them. That's basically what's happening. They're not going
Yeah.
to trust you.
Yeah.
So,
It's a trust thing.
yeah, so the first thing you want to do is make sure that you have gone to the front end of your site and looked at it. Okay, so I'm actually going to pull up right now. For those of you who are listening, we'll try to walk you through what we're going to show. So let me share my screen here for everybody on YouTube or wherever you're watching. Okay, so I am going to block out the names of these companies because I don't want anybody, feeling like they're
Yeah.
anyway. But the first thing I'm seeing, which I find so interesting, is that I get to the site and I see this pop up on this particular site. Now, just so you know what I did, I ran a search for charcuterie near me. And if you run that search, you're going to see tens of thousands of searches like that. If you have the tools, like I use keywords everywhere, and it tracks how many people are running searches for different kind of search terms, right? So this was charcuterie near me. Now, usually what you're going to find there is all, and when somebody runs that search, that is going to be usually people that have set up their Google My Business in most cases, and that's good. You need to do that. And you might show up on the map and all that, which I highly recommend everybody do, but that's a different discussion for a different day. But because it was popped toward the top, I clicked on it. I mean, literally, this was the first one that I saw. And look what happened when I pulled it up. I have no idea if this person's getting business, because if you look at this pop-up, that's the first thing. It says close. Now, so you guys know, it's March right now. Today is March 30th, 25. And this pop-up came up. It says closed February 23rd through March 2nd, 2025. Okay. All inquiries will be responded. Now, okay, so it's outside of that window. So I'm going to assume that they're back in business, but I'd be taking that down right off the bat because it was the first thing that I'm seeing. Hey, Charcuterie Launch Lab listeners. I've got some exciting news for you that you do not want to miss. We're launching the free webinar bootcamp that we're calling the Charcuterie Business Bootcamp. Turn your charcuterie passion into profits in less than 2 weeks. Whether you're just starting out or looking to scale your charcuterie business, this bootcamp is packed with actionable strategies to help you monetize your passion quickly and effectively. In this webinar bootcamp, you'll learn the important things to consider when starting your business. We'll both be here to teach you everything from what you need to know about licensing, health certification and insurance, to creating your menus, pricing for profits and branding, to how and where to create your online presence with an easy-to-build website, automatically taking orders, and growing it through innovative marketing with or without ads. Spaces are limited, so don't wait. Head on over to grazingbiz.com/bootcamp. That is grazingbiz.com/bootcamp to reserve your spot today. Transform your love for charcuterie into a thriving online business. The bootcamp is free, so sign up today. We can't wait to see you there.
Yeah, because it said March 2nd. So most people aren't going to read that fine print. They're just going to be like, okay, well, now I got to go look for somebody else.
Right, exactly. Now I'm going to scroll down just a little bit and just see. So they've got these great pictures, and let's just see what happens. To go board. What happens if I click on any of these? So there's no clicking, right? Mm-hmm. So the first thing I'm going to say is every single image, or you should try to have a link to that you can put on your website that will be for every single image that's there, or you have a button underneath there that says to order or whatever, right? Because people are immediately going to assume that I can click on that, right? So in this case, there's no button underneath here. That the image is showing up and it says go to board, and then it says
no, actually it says to go. I'm sorry.
Oh,
it
to
says
go board.
Go board. So that's part of the menu,
right? But
of things, products that they offer.
Should be a button or something here right away. When I see these pictures there, these should be order buttons right here. Anyway, that's just try to put an order button or something that identifies click here to see. Now I'm down a little bit farther, and there's this massive picture, more than half the screen that says, and then that's great, but then on the right says big huge print, shop boards and specialty items, and underneath there in the smallest little print, I can barely see it because it almost is the same color as the background. It says menu. It's so small. So that is not going to get you like the most, and I don't even want to look at, I honestly don't think I want to look at what this looks like on the phone. So how you can check things on the phone is just try to get on there and send yourself a text if you can, I know, or pull it up on your phone. I mean, send yourself a text. I'm able to text myself from my computer, so I can do it. But anyway, just make sure that you've got obvious buttons to order. This should not be just typed up print with a little teeny weeny button. You can barely even tell it's a button. All right, I'm going to click on the menu, right? Let's see. Is there anything else that's catching your eye here when you on this one? I don't know. I mean, I'm not laughing.
Yeah, I mean, all the same stuff.
God form is what I'm doing.
No,
it's happening. Yeah,
all the same stuff, and so I'm still kind of going back to that pop-up that they haven't changed in a month. That is disturbing, but I would say also, right off the bat, it also says, all inquiries will be, responded to shortly or something like that. So it tells me they don't have the ordering online. I'm just guessing.
Right. I'm
So
gonna
we're
get, yeah,
looking at that
I'm
now.
trying to get there right now to see, because now I'm on the next page, which is just all this words with a menu on it. It just says the menu. And then I'm reading through, let's see, reading through it. Please note all boards are tailored. Okay, I'm just trying to be tricky with her name. But anyway, I'm scrolling down and I see a bunch of pictures. And I kid you not, I do not see an order button here. I literally
So
do
you
not.
can't click on any of those. I'm
No,
not with
none of,
Patty, so I'm not on
yeah,
this. So
no.
where do you don't order, or
I'm
you can't
just,
even go to a form page, I would say.
I'm heading down. I'm going down
Okay.
and down the page.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
here's my tip, guys. Every single time you put any picture of anything or anything you have, make sure you got the button. But at the same time, there's nothing stopping you about, there's sections. So your website's built with a big section in it, and everything you see are usually there's sections. Inside of a section, there's usually a row, and then there's columns inside those rows. So inside that's normally how these are set up. But every now and then, you should just have a big button that says order here. Even if you don't want to put
Mhm.
buttons every image there is, you could put order here. I literally saw nowhere to order on this page. Oh my God, it scares me so
So
bad
the
for this one.
question, yeah, I know. And that's the thing is we're not making fun. I just feel
No,
bad because I feel like they have beautiful stuff.
they got great pictures.
Look at their
Yeah.
stuff. The pictures are awesome. The prices are not too bad. And
Mm.
they're right in line where they should be. But then they're making it extremely hard for someone to
To go
purchase.
by,
Here's the
right?
thing, everybody. If you have a website where you can have the menu, have the scheduling, have the payment done, you are basically open for business 24 hours a day. Somebody
Mm-hmm.
wakes up in the middle of the night and goes, "Damn, I forgot to order, for mom's birthday or whatever."
Yeah,
They can do it. And that is like huge. I don't think
right,
people understand how massive that is. The whole fill out a form and we may call you back in 48 hours. That's just not efficient. It just
right.
isn't.
Okay, so this is the worst
So
part is
there
that
it
there's
is.
not
Yeah.
one button to say order here. The only thing that I see that could be close to it is contact, and it's up at the menu and it's tiny. The menu,
Mhm.
now there's two ways to say menu when we're talking. We're talking the menu of your website. At the top of your website where there's drop downs and you see things that you can click on at the top. Well, I clicked on the one because there was nothing else to see other than contact as far as ordering goes. Now we're on the contact page. And the contact just says request a board. Fill out the inquiry form below and we'll get back to you.
Look,
And then they put
it
their
does say, it
hours.
says within 48 hours,
Yeah.
which is typical. That's what I see. And I will say 90% of the websites that I've looked at across the country, mind you, they do this exact setup where it fill
Yeah.
out the form and maybe we'll get back to you. I mean, it's not maybe. I'm sure they make every effort. But here's the deal. As a chef, and maybe I only own my business and I get help once in a while from my kids when I need it. But if you're a single person owning it, you're the one making those calls. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, but that's going to take a half a day. If you're doing good business, that's going to take forever.
Right.
So it's just easier, and they do have the buttons so you can click on that, right?
Well,
Open
these aren't buttons.
inquiry.
So you come down here, if you
Oh,
notice, it says, please note, instead of giving
oh,
people
I
an
got you.
opportunity to order, they actually have given the dates that they're booked instead, which I think is absolutely the most inefficient thing I think I've ever seen. So she's got bookings, she's got bookings, January bookings. Now we've already passed those, so those should be out of here. But March bookings, if you click on it now, you'll be able to see when she's already booked. So watch out, you can't book. So this is what's interesting to me. She's pretty booked according to this. So that's maybe a good thing, but at the same time, I would be like, okay, wait a minute, can I book? I mean, so she's booked from 4 to 6 on the 28th of March. What does that mean? Can I book something else? I don't even know. I'm
Yeah,
getting
you don't
turned off,
know.
right? You don't know, like, is she only take one a day? I mean, to me, This makes no sense. Wouldn't you rather have a schedule here that actually shows when you're available? Anyway, we're going to show you other ways that should look that I would
Yeah.
suggest it looks. But anyway, oh, so there's one sample. Let me head over to another one because it's easier for us to explain things, I think, looking at other people's sites. Let me go. I want to actually go to the home page on this one. So I found this one again, same search, right? And so this, obviously, I hate to do this, but it is in Arizona because I was running charcuterie near me, and that's where we're at. So I go to the website, and for those of you who can't see this, you really should go look at the YouTube channel or our YouTube video on this. But there is literally nothing on this homepage. It says, okay, their logo's at the top. There's a little menu at the top, so small. It says boards, boxes, bites, and beyond. And then it says serving the local area. And then nothing, absolutely nothing. And then I go, what's showing up? And I just think they haven't been to the site to see what's happening. There's nothing on the site, on this homepage. You see the footer is there with an old date from 2021. So that's another sad thing, is that you can tell people have not been in here recently. I hope these people are getting business, but it still surprises me that this is popping up to the top of a Google search. Now, wouldn't this be awesome if you just got this fine-tuned and showed up on the first page of Google? Because now people are going to be, oh, these people got their act together because they got their site normalized. I mean, this is crazy to me. All right, let me go. There's nowhere to click on this because there's nothing on this page. I'm going to go to menu and see what's going on. And then I don't even know if I can get menus going nowhere. Oh, okay, it's slow to, okay, so here's the menu, went to menu page. And then there's a date to pick up on here. So you can actually, but it says we're not accepting online orders yet. Right on
Please
the top.
contact us to complete the order.
Yeah.
So how do you contact them? You can't do it through, you
There's
hit the
a contact button up there. Yeah, there's a contact button. But yeah.
What happens if you hit that pickup button? Is that a button?
Actually gives you dates that you could say, oh, I'm going to pick up, but it's not. Like, why? I'm going to go to the 11th and then it doesn't do anything. Okay, let me put a time in here. Then what? Now watch. So this pop-up came up. Yeah.
Oh.
There's nothing for me to click on. There's a pop-up that came up that gave me an option to put in a date and time, but there's nothing to click on past that. So I don't know what it's going to do. If I close it out, look, it doesn't refresh here. So I don't know. This is really sad and messed up.
They haven't really done anything.
There's nothing going on here. So
progressive on this at all.
It's so sorry. I feel bad for these people because they got great pictures here.
They have
got
great
an opportunity
pictures
to make money. Yeah. Maybe they're not using it for online ordering and just sending people here. Okay, but still, why put in a date thing here if you're not gonna take online orders at this point and you're just going to have them contact you anyway, because the date thing's not working. So whatever this thing is supposed to do, it's not doing anything. It's just popping up with, hey, put a date in here, and then there's nothing to click to submit it, to get it to pull anything up. You know what I mean? It's hard to explain when you're just listening, but the sad part is that it's happening over and over and over again. And so that, we hate to see that happen. I mean, we really do. Let's talk about a few. Whoops. Let's talk. Hi down there.
Hey. I know the podcasters that are listening to us on or whatever. Patty's messing with the screen.
Yeah, I messed with the screen, and Andrew turned out a little midget.
Look like a little Oompa Loompa down there.
You look like Oompa Loompa down there.
Yeah. Totally did.
Anyway, so let's talk about a few other things then, Andrew. I want you, I'm going to look up a couple things, and I just I want to make a comment. I did kind of like come up with a list of a few things about, why people have problems with their websites. The first thing is you probably just don't know where to start. Now, Andrew, when you were looking around for a website, tell us what you looked in and, all the places that you looked to see what your solutions were before, we started doing what we were.
Yeah, before we started talking. Yeah. Okay, so I'm not going to throw them completely under the bus, but I have to mention it. I started with Shopify, and you can make it work, the scheduling and the ordering and all the jazz. But here's the problem. You have to purchase apps within the Shopify world. And by the time you got done, the calendar app, the ordering app, and the payment app, it was I don't even know what it came out to in the end because I just stopped right there
Hmm.
because I was like, I'm not doing all that. And you had to piece it all together. And then to get it on your website, they don't give you any support. So it was just I knew it was going to be ugly. And so I didn't even bother with it. And then there are some other little sort of appy, I don't know what you want to call them, things that you can go through Apple and find some weird apps for doing online ordering, but that's all they do. They don't do
Hmm.
anything else. They don't do emailing. They don't do automatic responding. So you would have to
Yeah.
go in and answer, thank you so much for your order. And, it might send them a receipt and maybe a thank you, but it won't give any kind of personalized service.
Yeah.
So you certainly can find ways to do it, but you have to piece it all together. Or you could go with like Hootsuite or whatever, MailChimp. And then again, you're back to using, I know everybody doesn't know this, but Zapier and attaching everything to make it work.
Yeah.
Like, no thanks. I knew that Patty's system, which she was already working with the real estate agents on. I was like, hey, can we make this work? And she was like, heck yeah, we
Yeah.
can make this work.
Right.
Because the
Yeah.
whole piecing together, peeps, it's terrible. And then you pay for all those separate subscriptions and you're trying to keep track of them. And not only that, just trying to get them integrated, you just want to, you know, give up. You don't even want to do it.
Right.
So I think that's why you see so many people in this genre of ours doing the whole, because they don't want to spend the fortune that it needs to be a restaurant POS system, which is a point of sale
Hmm.
system. You can certainly go that route, which I've seen people do,
Yeah.
but your business needs to justify the cost on that. And it's not really set up for marketing necessarily. And if it is, they're going to charge more for that. So
Right.
either way, you're just piecing it together and paying more in the end, and it's not fun. Especially
Yeah.
when all you want to do is make boards and you want to have a good time doing it and make them look pretty. And then you're
Yeah.
stressing about that part of it.
Right. Well, we're
So,
trying to make it easy. So
mhm,
another thing, so that we can talk about it, because we brought this up a few times. I think, I one of the challenges I think that everybody has is the fact that if you're going to order and if you go somewhere and click on something that says order now or order, and then you end up on a form that
mhm.
you got to contact them. That obviously is not efficient for you. So, why is it that most of these websites have those? I mean, why is that? Why do you think that is? Is
Because
the softwares out there
because
don't
they
provide?
don't know, they either don't have the technical skills to piece together, like I said earlier, piece together all those subscriptions and using all the other third-party apps to make it all happen.
Yeah,
Because even with GoDaddy, you have to piece together all these things. You could buy your website through them, but then you have to piece everything together to make it
right.
work. If you don't do it that way, you're hiring somebody to
To
run that part
to
of your
get it set
business
up,
for
right.
you, which is phenomenally expensive.
Right.
So, like I said, 90% of the research when I started doing this way back in the day, but nobody is doing online food ordering without, there was just everybody was doing the whole, well, contact here, fill this form out and we'll get back to you in 48 hours. Like 90% are doing
Yeah.
it that way. And if it works for them and they don't mind making all the phone calls and whatever, and I personally don't want to do that.
Yeah.
I do call people back just to give a little bit personal,
Yeah.
when I feel like I need to. Not every order needs it.
Needs it.
Sometimes they just want to email me and say, hey, is it good to go? Blah, blah, blah. And I send them a confirmation. And that's all automated. So I'm not
It's
really
all
worrying
automated.
about it.
Right.
And if I don't
So,
hear from them, I deliver and they're like, yay,
yeah, I
So,
mean, how many times, and you think about Uber Eats and all of that, and I will say I had
mhm,
a bad experience with Uber Eats, but that said, when you do an order like that, you don't feel like, or you call your local Chinese restaurant to go get an order so you can go pick it up, you're usually not expecting them to call you because you've
mhm.
gone to their website to
Yeah,
order. Or you call them an order, I guess, because people do that. But I mean, they're not expecting you to call them, and so I'm not expecting people to call me, right? I expect it to be there, and especially if I'm able to go to a site that's got good reviews. And many people that have bad sites have good reviews. So what's sad about all that is that they could get even more business if they wanted to. Now, let's talk about a fear that you might have of over automating this. And that would be, oh, what if I'm not available? What if I'm taking a vacation? Or I got to go out to dinner that night and I don't want. Well, here's what you do. You get your order system set up so that everything happens. So our goal is that somebody is going to come to your site. They're going to click on a button and they're going to go first to see if you're available. They'll go to a calendar, right? So they pick out what they want on your site. They go first to a calendar that's automatically going to just tell them when you're available. Well, you've already gone in previously and blocked out your schedule the way you want it. Now, if you're going to deliver, now we'll talk about delivery and or pickup here in a second because we have talked about that in a previous podcast. But if they go there and they see that there's a 2 o'clock slot and a 4 o'clock slot and a whatever, that's assuming you've already set that up in advance, that you know I have that window of time to get the stuff done in the morning or whenever you're going to create them, right? Most of the time you're doing it fresh that day.
Yeah.
And then, but you're planning ahead because you can see it coming and you don't let them schedule this afternoon. I mean,
hmm
I don't
Yeah.
even let people schedule a call with me this afternoon because
Right.
I don't know where I'm going to be in the morning. So I have to say, you've got to give me one day before I can even talk to
Yeah.
you when people schedule calls with me personally for just consulting purposes. But you got a plan to make the board. But so in the morning, I'd just be blocking the entire morning off. And if somebody needs something in the morning, then they just have to be sure it's scheduled days in advance. So you at least, right? Now
Yeah.
you know, and you're being notified, but you're not like, oh, I got to talk to them and make sure it's available because you know you're available because you've already put it in your
Right.
calendar, right? So
hmm
they're on this calendar and they pick it out. From there, it automatically takes them to a form that they're going to fill out that's going to give you more information about them, where are you delivering, if you're going to deliver, just any questions you want to ask them. It just automatically goes there. And before they could submit anything, they pull out their credit card and pay for
Yeah.
whatever that is.
Yeah.
Now, if it's something that's over and above or needs special customization, that then of course you're going to have that option for people to talk to you. But I would have it very clear on the form saying this is the base price. If you're adding things to it, we'll contact you and let you
hmm
know what that's going to look like. If it's something that's out, I mean, you can certainly add your upsells, like, your whatever, you might add decorations or whatever your upsells
Right.
might be.
Right.
Or I want this cheese and that instead of that one, then there might be a
hmm
cost involved, right? You
Yeah,
just
because I
warn
have
them,
like I have
right?
like a note column that
Yeah.
says, if you have specific requests, let me know here. But here's the deal. Most of the time, people just want it easy. If you
Yeah.
do your menu correctly, you're not going to get a lot of those random requests.
Yeah. Make it clear.
You're going to have difficult customers that are going to want this, that, and whatever. But I would say 80% of the people don't, they take whatever you got.
Yeah.
And
They
you
don't know
always
any
have
different.
disclaimers on there anyway. Your menu should have a disclaimer that says, this is all based on seasonality, availability. You
Hmm.
can't go to the store. You're not going to buy rotten, fruit for your
Right.
thing. So you may have to substitute something. And you just make sure you have those little disclaimers on there and nobody
Right.
can ever argue. I've never had anybody argue with me about it. They
Right.
may text me back and say, I'm allergic to this, that, and whatever, and not text. I'm sorry. They'll message it or put it in the comments.
Right.
So,
And the form is, if you've got it done right, the form's going to
yeah.
be built like that to answer it. So speaking of that, I'm going to show your site here in a
hmm
second. So, because so people understand where we're going with this, because it's easy for us to say you should be going from this to this to this and this, and then your
Right,
head
right,
spinning off
right.
because I don't quite get it. But the reality is that this can be set up very, very easy, especially if we're here helping you because it's already set up. All you got to do is come in and change out your menu and put some pictures in and you put your
hmm
calendar, your schedule in. But if you're doing it on your own, you are, like Andrew said, you're going to piecemeal different softwares together. And if you know what a plugin is, a plugin's like other software that you might have to pay for to plug into your website in order for something to work, because you're getting just a basic software with a GoDaddy site or whatever, or a Shopify, like you were saying. And
hmm
then I think you told me early on that you would have had to pay another, what, 30 or $40 a month to get a
Yeah.
calendar put in to do what our system
Yeah.
does already, right? So,
Hmm.
I mean, and then
Yeah.
you've got to figure out how to, integrate this whole thing, get
Yeah.
it in
And
there.
I didn't even have, so let me cut you off. I didn't even have the whole emailing,
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
yeah, the marketing that comes afterwards to keep those customers on the hook.
Yeah,
So
right.
that
And
wasn't
so
part of
that's the
that.
next step on all of this because as soon as they order, everything's automated behind it that, oh, this is sending an email out, it's sending a text out. Okay, your order's in. It's kind of like if you order pizza, right? You ever order pizza online?
Hmm.
They really got their act together with the pizza companies. They got that figured out. I don't know, is it I'm trying to say it's Domino's or something. They actually have a timer on it and you can go to the
Yeah, it
app and
is
you can see
Domino's.
where your
Yeah.
pizza is in the process.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
we could
And they tell
probably
you
actually,
who's delivering, who's
yeah,
making it, who's delivering it, the whole
yeah.
nine yards, so you know who's coming. Pizza Hut does it where you can, you can order a half a pizza being this, and it has all these visuals. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Anyways, where were we
So,
going?
yeah, I mean,
Hmm.
so the follow-up side of that is that when your system is automatically set up right, and you've got this whole thing running like a well-oiled machine, somebody orders and instantly they get a text that says, you've ordered for this date. This is what you ordered. We know, we'll be contacting you, on whatever, and it will do it automatically now. So it's set up on that day. The whole thing in our thing is a workflow. And our workflow is set up to say the date of the appointment is now. And then everything that comes behind that is based on that date. So a day that it orders, something's going to go, the day before or the 3 days before. I think we have it set up for 3 days before. Just a reminder, we're going to be there. And then a day before, and then the day of, they'll get an automated reminder, and it's all based on that date. And if you
Hmm.
had someone come in and reschedule, if you're allowing that or whatever, because I wouldn't recommend it I mean, at least not get their money back within a couple days, but because you've already gone out and spent your money, that's a whole different discussion.
Yeah, and that we can have another
Yeah, I couldn't.
discussion about that. But I mean, I
Yeah.
I charge everything up front. I don't
Yeah,
do
you
that
want
unless it's a big
everything up front.
amount. But
I would not, yeah, you wouldn't even
yeah,
want to go there, right?
no, not
So,
for not for $150 or $200. No,
right.
you know.
So I think the big thing is you don't, my recommendation after all these years I've been marketing, which is over 30 some years now, helping people in customer service, the reality is that you just have to experience what you're putting out in the world as the consumer. And I'll bet you'll be surprised. I just bet you'll be surprised. And again, I want to say go to it on desktop, check it on a tablet, check it on your phone. And most softwares out there, ours does, actually has the ability for you to check it while you're actually creating it. You go, oh, I want to see what it looks like on mobile now. I'm going to
Mhm.
share my screen. Okay, so now I'm screen sharing Andrea's website, and we're just going to show you the difference on what it could look like when you actually do this in a way that's going to make way more sense to order online, a little smoother, but also to be able to navigate through the website. So if you take a look, and again, I know many of you aren't watching this, and again, I'm going to encourage you to, I'm going to put the link to the YouTube version of this in the show notes for those of you who are on all the other channels out there that are just listening. So if you want to go and click on the YouTube version, that would be great, because then you can get a feel for what I'm talking about here a little bit better. But anyway, so we're on Andrew's site, and you'll notice the first thing I want to point out is there is buttons and menus, obviously at the top of the board, but at the top of the website. But the key here is what is above the fold. And when we say above the fold or above the scroll, that means before you scroll, you have basically calls to action. And in this case, you can see bright orange button that says choose your board. That is right at the top of the screen before you have to scroll. So what's important about this, you want to make sure that you are not just seeing this on desktop, but also on your mobile devices, on phone. So you might have to maneuver a little bit on your website on the mobile version of it in order to be able to see a button, right? Because it might look a little different when you do it on your phone. But anyway, so if we go to choose the board, what it's going to do is pop us down. What it did is it just scrolled down really fast, right? In this case. Now this button can go anywhere. You can have a whole different page for it to go to. But in this case, we have built her site so that when you click on that, it scrolls down real fast. See how that goes? Boom, rolls down. Now, when you get down to the next section, now keep in mind, these are all sections, so it's easy to kind of set up sections when you see these. There's sections on websites. This is a new section. This section underneath that header area is now got 4 images of various types of things that she offers. And so you can see classic American, world indulgence, holiday boards, and special event boards. So what's the key about this that's different than we saw on the other websites was the fact that you can actually click buttons underneath these images that says choose board. And so, or you could set it up so that they're actually clicking on the image, which would be like a hyperlink. So that's something you can do with most websites. You can add a hyperlink to an image that says if someone clicks that image, it's going to go somewhere. It could go to a page. It could go to another location on the website on the same page. It can go to a whole other website for that matter, if you wanted to. Anyway, so either way, you want to have buttons that are obviously clear. Now, in this case, you can see choose board is underneath there. And then underneath that area, I also put another really bright button that just says view all the boards. So if they just want to go, you know what, I just want to see everything that she has in one spot instead of just go look at these particular types of boards, has a page where we've built that will take them to all of the boards, right? Now, if you scroll down a little farther, you can see there's just some information about how to order, which I think is really key. Also, her service areas where she's at, so you can do that. And then information about her as we're scrolling down. We also have a FAQ on this as you scroll down even farther. And throughout, you can see, I never want to end a website without some call to action of some sort. So we also have them joining a mailing list as well. So there's a button down at the toward the bottom, for her mailing list. But there's a bunch of buttons to be able to click and order, right? So, if I click on one of these, so let's click on a holiday board one. And then it's actually going to another page where we've got the upcoming holidays on here. We have Easter and Mother's Day. So, and in this case, they can just click on order your holiday board now. And then what it does is it scrolls down on this page down to our ordering calendars. And, you can see, well, before that, I have steps to order here again. Choose your board, choose your delivery date, watch your email to confirm it for the receipt and confirmation, and then delivery within hour of scheduled time. So we've kind of given them what to expect once they do decide to order. So that's always a good idea. So it kind of gives them some trust, adds trust to your whole order process. So the more you can do that, the better you can do it. Now you can see here I have 2 different options for the upcoming holidays. So we're actually looking at calendars now these are calendars, by the way, calendars that have order forms on them. And that's how we set it up. And these are groups. This is the Easter group where we have 3 calendars. This is the Mother's Day group with 3 calendars. And these calendars are order forms that are different size boards. It's simple as that. So if I clicked on, the Easter board, I'm going to see a calendar here that I can now schedule. Now, this is what's really key, is that you can schedule and buy all in one fell swoop. What you want to do is make sure that they check your calendar first. Instead of them calling you, they're going to check online, are you free? And you've already gone in and blocked out dates, right? So you've said, I never want to work on Saturday, or I never want to work on Friday, or whatever. Then what you're doing is blocking the time out on these calendars. So if I click on this, what you're putting on these time slots now, which are showing up, are when you're available to deliver. So I would just make sure that whatever you have on here makes sense for you. And then as people are ordering, it's going to block out that time. So people can't schedule over you. So you have to make sure you know what's going to work best for your, what you want to do. And there's other ways in our system, what we do on this, because of course I created this website for her, fine tuning these calendars and making sure that when you go into the calendar setup, which you can do in almost all of these electronic calendars out there, especially in ours, I can say they're not allowed to order outside of 48 hours or 72 hours. I mean, they have to order outside of that. They can't order within that time frame because I need to be able to have time to go, or she needs to have time to go in or get all the stuff she needs to make sure she's got available to make the boards. So, so you can see the time slots now. So if I click on that, I can hit select, and then it's going to take them to the next screen, which is actually going to be like order form questionnaire. It's going to put all the things on the questionnaire that I want to ask. In this case, because of the way I set up this page, you're seeing both the holiday boards on here and the calendars, but there's other ways that I could set up the pages. In fact, I'm going to back up here. If you go here, actually, as I go up here, you can see that we actually have drop downs that explain what's inside these boards. So each size has the actual menu so they can see it a little clearer. But I wanted to go back a little bit here. Let me go back out to, let's go back out to the American boards. I think this one would be a little clearer to see. It's kind of the same thing. You get to the American board page and she's got like a breakout of, the prices. And when you click on this, it drops down and gives all the information that's included. But she's also, if you scroll down here, now you've got these. And if I click on this now, I'm only seeing this. Because of the way I set up this page, there's only one group of calendars on this page, not every holiday. So now I can go, oh, I'm ordering the small board, and I click on that and everything's here in one spot, right? And it's opening up the calendar to pick out dates that are available. So now I can go, oh, I want to order on April 25th, and she's available at 4 p.m. for me to deliver or to get my board. Then we're going to the next screen, and it's showing all the questions that we need to ask. And you can create this form however you want of the questions you want to ask, and give them an option to add in information about, anything special that they want. Is it a birthday, an anniversary? If so, what's the year? I mean, whatever you want to ask, you can leave an extra opening there if you want to have them add any extra information. You can do that too. All of it is editable in our system. But it comes with a form like this that's easy to edit, add what you want. Your payment form is all here. It's a secure payment where you put the form in, the card number in right here, and move on to the next screen, and everything's done. So, I mean, it just couldn't get any easier. Then everyone gets notified, right? Everyone's going to get notified on who, like Andrea, if she has people working for her, they know what's coming. And, really just all smooth, not going all over the place and calling everybody under the sun. You'll notice also as I scroll up to the top, we've got a drop down at the top that shows all of her different pages that she has that she wants to show. She's also offering a gift card page. So if I go to the gift card page, it takes me to a page that I can just order a gift card. And in this case, we have 3 different prices that we've built into it. But again, this is something you can put whatever you would want to, right? And then there's the contact us. Now she does request to contact us when people are scheduling a special event. So if they've got something big, we've just got a contact us page. But again, this is all automated so that it will still get people to get instant reply. Once somebody signs up for something like this, they're going to get an email and a text. You'll also notice down here, she's got a little bubble at the bottom right of her screen, which is a question form that it just says, hey, you want to reach out to us? You can, if you have a question, just put it in here. So it's basically called a website chat widget. So you've probably seen those where you've gone to websites and you see a little bubble at the bottom right corner. So that actually is another way to lead capture. So another thing you didn't see because I clicked off of it is that if somebody comes to the site and tries to leave the site, a pop-up is going to come up that says, hey, we got a 10% coupon. It's not doing it because I already clicked off on it, but it does do it. Let me see if I go to it, open a new window, if it'll do it for me. Let me check it. Yep, I just opened another window and this popped up. So this is basically just a standard, form where it just pops up and says, "Hey, we're going to get some $10 off your first order. If you want to fill this out, don't leave. Get on our mailing list." So that's what this is doing. So that's always a good thing. Our goal is not just to sell, but also to capture leads. So you need to offer some sort of irresistible offer on your site if you can, to help you get more business, right? And someone can just click off of that. So anyway, that's the difference, I think, between, I think it's a good example of what you could see, a site that's actually useful for somebody and automated as much as possible, than a site that you have to kind of do more manual labor to make a sale, But this is all online. Nobody's calling her to get, I mean, they can, but they don't need to, is the point. And we're not making this overly busy. And for the people that are new to this, like we talk about, is that you don't have to have a zillion things on your site. I think that was a problem on that last site I was looking at. Did you think there was too much? Well, not the last one, but the one before that.
It wouldn't have been too much if you could click on something.
Yeah.
When you can't click on something, then you're just going, this is way too frustrating.
Right.
So you kind of want to, people are doing a lot of research, but at the same token, if they're doing the research, they're ready to buy. And so you don't want to be that website that isn't set up properly and, is frustrating, and they have to wait 2 days to hear from you and all that jazz. And I see this over and over and over again. I'm floored by it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even be doing the charcuterie thing if I couldn't make it possible for them to order online. That's just the way of the world. Everybody wants everything yesterday.
Right.
And when they make
and
a decision,
easy.
they make it quickly and they want it easy.
Right.
And they don't always want to talk to somebody.
Right.
In
fact,
they
nowadays
don't need to have that. Yeah, they just don't want to. They don't want to be bothered. They just want to order and get on with it and know it's done. And so, and I see that over and again on Facebook too. A lot of people doing just a Facebook page, whether it's a page or a business page or whatever it is they're doing. They don't even bother with the website.
Right.
Maybe they're getting business, and I'm sure there's a lot of you out there doing exactly that. If it works for you, great. I know in my case, I'm busy doing a lot of things. I make a lot of deliveries, mostly on the weekends. I watch my grandson during the week, but I take orders during the week and they pop up and I get a little notice about it. And, I know what my weekend's going to look like.
Right.
So,
I always tell the real estate agents I work with about how, I can't even imagine if you're making sales, and some of them make really good sales without any kind of software backup. But I know, and they've told me, I don't sleep at night because I can't track
they're
anything.
scrambling.
I'm afraid I'm going to miss something. I'm going to lose business. I lost track of that client, and it happens over and over and over, especially in our business, in the real estate business, because people don't like buy and get it delivered in a week. They usually get online and it takes months or years sometimes to get business, and you just lost those people if you don't automate this part of it. The other thing I want to point out is how expensive getting your own site set up. If you want to go have someone build this for you, you are looking at least $5,000, if not more, depending on and how many pages you have. So now is our shameless plug, because honestly, you can have a site identical to Andrea's, and we are here really to help you get this whole thing automated so that it's running smoothly, right? So in case you missed that, we do offer services for this. So we want you to, click in the show notes to get to links to offer you guys help, right? And we have amazing program that's called the Charcuterie Launch Lab. And we are actually starting to schedule one-on-one calls with folks to talk to you about your business and explain to you exactly how this works. So you'll get a link in the show notes in order to be able to set up a free call with us. We're more than happy to talk to you about how this works and how you can get this set up and do this right instead of all this other room. By the way, if you don't sell charcuterie and you sell other kind of food,
you can add it.
I works for any kind of food, bread, cookies, cakes. If they have to order and schedule, or even if they don't need to schedule and you're just making bread and you just want to have it
Yeah,
out.
we're seriously talking about
Yeah.
setting up the system and having the templates and everything
We'd
for
love to
the
help you
that's
because
coming,
it's coming.
the cottage people
Right.
out there
The
making
cottage
breads and jellies and
from
whatever's going
home.
on at
Yeah.
home. That's
So huge opportunity to ramp this up. So whether you're doing it, just kind of real old school and just having people call you through a Facebook post or something, if it's working for you, great. But I got to tell you, if you really want to ramp this up, holy mackerel. And this will be automated so that you would automatically know when people are ordering. So you're not like wondering. You're getting emails, you're getting notices. You log
hmm
into
hmm
a platform that we have that when you see the activity, you know it's happening. You just go back into your platform and it is staring at you in the face. You go right to the calendar and you can see everything lined up. You're getting notices, you're getting reminders. Oh, by the way, you have a board coming up in a few days. So I just can't,
And let me just point out really quick before we end this.
yeah.
Let's make sure that people understand I am not tech savvy, okay?
Mm,
And I can do this. And so that is one of the things we want to hit home
yeah.
is that you don't have to have, some coding degree in order to make this happen.
No.
I do it, granted I do have my sister's help and she's been helping me with it, but at the same
Now that,
token, we've
yeah,
been helping people that literally only know how to text off their phone,
yeah,
or take the pictures. And so we know that other people can do this that
right.
are not technically,
Yeah,
you
and
know,
just to be clear, what you're getting
literate
when
with
we help,
this.
yeah, when we get you, we're basically taking all the templates we've created, and that's just not just what you're seeing here. You've got a website, you've got landing
hmm
pages, or pages, sales pages specific to all the holidays and major events that somebody might order. And also all the marketing, order confirmation, automation workflows, like so just things that are automatically going to happen and we're plugging them right. You're basically walking into an all-in-one business in a box. And I am recorded. I have recorded a bunch of training. Andrea's recorded a bunch of Chef Andrea's recorded a bunch of training to build your boards. We talk about licensing and regulations, and then really getting it online. And conceivably, if you followed our instructions, depending on where you're at in this process, because there's little things you got to take care of yourself, like licensing and health
Yeah.
matters. You got to go get your, health certification. So they've gone through that little class. It's not very long, right? Most states are probably doing it online now. I know when I took it years ago, I had to be in
Um,
person, I felt like, but
yeah, most of them are doing it online
online,
because of COVID and they just
yeah,
realized
just
it
kind of
was,
left it.
yeah,
Um,
it was easier.
but anyway, you're going to get everything you need to get yourself going. And literally, depending how far along you are, because you might already have this already kind of all set up, and maybe you just want to soup up your site. Another thing I want to point out is that if you have a site that you actually love and you think it's doing well, but you'd really like to be able to get access to the calendaring system, we are rolling out an kind of an option if you just want the calendar and the CRM part, which is the follow up. So that will help you
Customer
order. Yeah,
relationship. Mhm.
yeah, you can plug just the calendaring system into your favorite website if you've already got one and you just love it. We don't want you to leave it if you love it, but we can be here to help you get that kind of more automated if that's what you want to do. So you don't have to drop everything you've worked on. Maybe you put a lot of energy into it. But either way, I mean, you can move your domain into our system, and because it's an all-in-one, there is no system out there that I'm aware of for the charcuterie
Mhm.
business that is doing everything from nuts to bolts and teach and train you, not just on
Yeah.
demand, but also
Yeah. Plus we have the lessons, the
yeah,
tutorial. Mhm.
yeah, and we're live every week to help you too along the way. But so you're getting coaching. But anyway, I just felt like I had to fill you guys in, Andrea and I did, because we have seen so many sites. And again, I'm not laughing at them. I'm sorry for them. And if you've got a site like that, it can be fixed, right? So
Yeah.
let us
It
help
can
you
be
if we
fixed
can.
easily.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it can be fixed real easy. So make sure that you check us out. You can go to grazingbiz.com and but the links will be down there and you'll be able to schedule a call with us and we'd love to chat with you about how we can help you out more. But I don't
Mhm.
know, there was so much on that to unpack on that
I
website
know.
thing.
Sorry if we were going all over the place. So we were trying to
Well, it's hard because
stay
we are
organized.
wanted to show them on YouTube, but hopefully you'll head over to our YouTube podcast. Just
Yeah.
go over there and
Yeah. Yeah.
watch it there too if you're listening on any of the other
This is
audio.
a big subject. It's an important one if
Not
you're
the last
serious
time.
about doing this.
Yeah, it's not
So,
the last time we're going to talk about it, but we wanted
mm-mm,
to get the door open to get the conversation going because and this goes for just about every small business. I know everything I build, I have to go and test everything out on the other side of it. I test by signing up. And a lot of times you can actually set things up and put it in test mode. In our system, you can, so you can check to see if the ordering's occurring correctly, if it's doing what you want it to do, what redirects after somebody signs up, where does it go? That's a redirect. Like,
mm-hmm,
okay,
mm-hmm.
where are we going to, what are they going to see next? So there's a lot involved getting it set up, but we've got it all built from nuts to bolts. So anyway, let me rattle
All
on
right.
some more. Okay,
I
all
know.
right.
Exactly.
This is Sunday. It's time for us to maybe I guess kick our feet up for 10 minutes before we got to get back to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
We're at work. Anyway, we're glad you guys hung out with us today. And
Yeah.
if you like our
Always.
podcast, why don't you tell other people about it that you know might have an interest? Maybe you're in some groups because I know there's lots of groups out there. Please share it with other groups out with people in these groups because you can see they're struggling, and we're here to try to answer everything we can from food to your website launch and beyond,
Mm.
right? Getting more business, marketing, all of those things. So share it, like it, tell the world, leave a comment. We'd love for you to do that and join our free Facebook group in. It's called Start Your Charcuterie Business. Pretty easy. Just
Mm-hmm.
go into Facebook, run a search for Start Your. I think there's a link in the show notes for that too. So hope to see you in
Okay.
there. Is that it? We are
Yep.
done. See you
That's
guys
it.
later. See you next time. Thanks for
Bye.
joining us. Bye.